What would happen if all insects disappeared overnight? The short answer is, we'd all celebrate for about a week. If every insect on Earth vanished tonight, tomorrow morning would feel amazing. No buzzing, no bites, no wasps in your soda. For the first few days, humans would throw outdoor parties, walk barefoot in the grass, and post good riddance memes all over the internet. And then, everything would start to die quietly. You see, insects aren't just annoying. They're the foundation of almost every ecosystem on the planet. About 80% of all plant species rely on insects for pollination. So within days, crops would start to fail. No bees, no butterflies, no beetles, no pollination. Farmers would try to pollinate by hand, but considering there are about 400,000 flowering plant species on Earth, they'd need a few billion humans with tiny paintbrushes and an unreasonable amount of patience. Meanwhile, animals that depend on insects for food would begin to starve. Without insects to eat, entire food chains would collapse like Jenga towers. Bird populations would plummet. Small mammals would vanish. And that's before we get to the decomposition problem. Insects are the planet's cleanup crew. They break down dead plants and animals, recycling nutrients back into the soil. Without them, bodies, both animal and plant, would just stay there. Imagine walking through a forest full of fallen leaves that never rot, dead animals that never decay. The planet would slowly fill with its own garbage. Bacteria and fungi would try to take over the cleanup duty, but they can't handle the workload. Nutrients would stop cycling through the soil, plants would weaken, and oxygen production would start to drop. Within a few months, pollination-dependent crops collapse. Food prices skyrocket. Meat and dairy industries fail because livestock feed crops can't grow. The global food web starts to crumble. Within a year, famine spreads. Ecosystems collapse in waves, and the human population, which depends on insect-driven agriculture for about 1/3 of its food supply, starts to shrink dramatically. So, in summary, if insects disappeared overnight, we'd win the battle against mosquitoes and lose the war for survival. Earth would turn from a thriving biosphere into a slow-motion wasteland, littered with unrotted leaves and very disappointed humans. In other words, the next time a mosquito lands on your arm, maybe just say thank you, and then gently swat it.